The excitement for me was that this technology enabled me to get to a product from my idea without having to send 30 emails and spend $50,000 on development for four people, 3 months to come back and say it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I can literally say, I wonder if I could create a something for that. So now I'm going to go in there and create the structure. I take a frame, put in some things, put in a bit of, I go, yeah, that's fun. Or no. And I spend an hour on it. And then I go, oh, that's an idea I could move on to. Or once I've had the idea and I've actually put it in place, go, yeah, no, it's a good idea, but it's going to take me 6 months to do this. This is too complicated. Forget about it. Right. As a business owner, to be able to create the solution that you want as a business owner that you can then pass on to somebody and say, all right, go make this great, is phenomenally empowering because you can
Hmm.
instantly go to market. Like you can go to market in a day. Literally,
Absolutely.
you can go to market in a
Absolutely.
day.
Clap, 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 we're done just right. 5-day sprint took us to new heights. Make it, build it, your dreams ignite. We're making moves at turbo pace.
Hey guys, welcome to another session of Members At, where we speak to members within our community, those who have been inside the 5-day sprint, building awesome things, and giving me an opportunity to bring those people to you because everyone inside the community is super awesome. And the more we can actually share their stories with you, the more fun we all have as well. So today's guest is Denis. I don't want to get this wrong. Laflamme? Am I correct?
Yeah, Denis Laflamme.
Denis Laflamme. Okay, so let's talk about the name.
Yeah,
Because I would have said Denis Laflamme and butchered it with my
sure.
English accent. So Denis Laflamme, that's so beautiful. You should be like a rock star or something.
Thanks. Well, I tried to be, but that didn't work out.
Fine.
That's why I'm
I feel
here.
like there's a whole story there.
Oh no, I just had a band. We had some fun. That was all.
Nice, nice. Well, Denny, thank you for joining us. You're joining us from Ottawa in Canada.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you for matching us time zone wise. We appreciate that. But
yeah,
you
yeah. My
know,
pleasure.
You're, you know what? Sometimes they say, it's nice to put a face to the name. In our case, it's nice to put a name to the energy, because you're, oh my goodness, like it's like I read your messages when you came to the community. Just such a wonderful, fiery, in a beautiful way, energy. So excited. So exhilarating, and you were one of those people that I just said to Ollie. I said, "Look, I need to speak to Denny. I need to understand, who this guy is, what he looks like, what his background is." And then the more we peeled back those layers on where you've been and what you've done, it was just like check, check, check. Like this is just awesome, and I'm really grateful that you're a part of our community and you're part of this space. Because I think there's so much that we can learn from you. So I don't know where to start. It could be
Right.
from your other projects you've experimented with and
Sure.
sold. There's so much that you got going
Mhm.
on. But where do you think a fun place to start would be? What would really set the bar for this conversation?
Yeah. Well, maybe we can look for things that are different in what I've been doing, just so that it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm 56, right? So
Wow.
probably part of the generation that was here way before all of this stuff, right? So I
Hmm.
started working in courseware development before the mouse came out. So it gives you an idea of, we had screens with just letters and no images before we had GUIs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started working with Novell and networking, and
Mm.
did, we were building computers in our living rooms and starting to sell computers, and eventually we started troubleshooting computers, and I became a network specialist, and then
Awesome.
slowly did a lot of vulgarization for small medium businesses. So I ended up basically working with companies that are, let's say, 100 employees or less, and also with here in Ottawa, the Canadian government, with national defense and global affairs, and all of the agencies that Agriculture Canada, that have all of these massive projects that require a lot of processing.
Mm.
So yeah, we spend up, so basically, yeah, we got excited about technology and then said, hey, let's go find some solutions. So we get excited about doing that, helping
When you
people
say
going,
we, this is are you saying we in the polite way, but it's actually you, or is there a bigger picture
no.
here?
Yeah, so the Agent Factory, which is the company that
Right.
I've started a couple of years ago, is
Awesome.
basically an agency where we build solutions for small medium businesses, right? So
Awesome.
so that's what we do. And so physical therapy, exercises, engine that we built. We have speech therapy. So I co-own a speech therapy clinic here in Gatineau. And so we created, that solution for that to be able to. We called it Natalie. We're actually launching it this week, so I'm very excited
Wow,
about that.
congrats.
So yeah, I'm from the generation that got excited about new technology and is using it on a daily basis. So when Mid Journey came out is when really it kind of started, putting it into to high gear for us, and then slowly migrated from courseware development and change management to yeah, creating solutions, and now starting a channel, and we're going to be doing a lot of probably parallel to what you're doing. Your niche is more the people that are actually building and creating solutions like us, right? Our niche is the small medium businesses that just have no time to spend 2 hours a day in front of a YouTube, video to learn things, because they have a business to run and they don't have, hours a week to be able to learn this new technology. They're like, just please connect it and make it work so that, it benefits my business. So that's also what we're doing.
Incredible. And so you've probably seen like every form of the technological shift, right? So what was happening in around, because a lot of times you hear what's happening in AI being compared to the internet kind of
Mhm,
era. Like, are you
mhm.
drawing any comparisons? Is that fueling a lot of the excitement that you're feeling in the AI space right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Um, to me, AI is like electricity,
Mm.
or like when the car came out, right? Where it's not something, it's a tool, but it's a tool that you can inject in everything that can scale anything, right? So it's like, you either use a shovel or you use a backhoe,
Mm-hmm.
so you could use a pencil or you can use Microsoft Word. And now this electricity that we have allows us to just superpower and supercharge everything we're using.
Absolutely.
So you can either be the guy that was in charge of, putting horseshoes on horses, complaining about how cars only use tires now, or you can decide that you're going to start a tire shop. You know what I mean? It's not a very complex equation. The technology's there. It's not going away. It's embedded in everything we're using regarding technology. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Yeah, it's like an
the most,
infrastructure, isn't it?
yeah, it's everybody's going to have a very important opinion about it, but unfortunately, humbly, it's going to do what it's going to do, and my reach is going to be to either decide to use it or park myself on an island and scuba dive and ignore technology.
Well, you're
I
working
have
on
the
island
same, like,
stuff anyway. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. We are doing stuff. It's going to be great.
It's awesome because I'm starting to understand your communication style now based on how many things that you've got going on, your ideas. You seem like incredibly creative,
Mhm.
very sort of driven by your vision and your own ideas as well, right? So
Yeah.
how are you keeping a hold of all of these different, because every single project you're telling me about
Mhm.
kind of feels like its whole own universe.
Yeah. Well, it sounds very eclectic and very, ADHD when you explain it in a conversation of, a few
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
But these are things that happened over decades, right?
Got
So,
it, got
so
it.
the speech therapy clinic has been around for 20 years. I
Has
took
it?
me seven
Okay.
years to get a scuba diving
Oh my
instructor.
goodness.
So those are
Wow.
things that you do. You know what I mean? It's
Uh-huh.
not. But so I'm a perpetual creator. I think that I associate with those people that have an idea every day, or every, like, idea browser where you could just take something and create a new company every afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that I'm in that world where I like to initiate, I like to start, I like to get ideas, solve things, and then get people that are much more knowledgeable than I am, like you, and help me finish the product and make sure that everything is, ready to go. So we have
Oh, bless you.
people in here that understand that I have an idea on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and I sit down in front of a few tools. I create a few solutions that I pass on to them, and then they go, all right, that's what we're going to do this week. And they spend, 2, 3 days figuring it out, making sure that it's nice and clean and matches all of the, HIPAA things or whatever we need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
respect, because all of those
yeah,
guys know exactly what that does. And then,
absolutely.
yeah, we have fun with that. So I
That's really
get to do what
interesting.
I get to do, is just create stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's funny you mentioned HIPAA as well, because there's a lot of sort of, we've worked with people in the, medical space, different people in sort of corporate, and they're often concerned about all these types of compliance they have to think about, all these sort of governing bodies they've got to, think about, who are reviewing their now AI products. But, what's interesting to me is when these people actually come across technology, we almost have to educate them on how to even interact with it, yet they're making the decisions of whether these type of products can live out there. Are you experiencing anything interesting like that? Like because the
Absolutely.
builder, you as a builder yourself are learning, and you're obsessed by it. So it's kind of interesting how this dynamic works with sort of the approval side of the economy.
Yeah, yeah, and we see this shift. I believe if you're looking at all of those YouTube videos that are out
Mm.
there about new technology, this shift of stop selling workflows, stop looking for 500 workflows that can save your life type of thing, and it's like, listen, understand the system and understand where you can put it. And inside a business, I guess that's the unfair advantage that we have, is we have been inside of businesses, we have been inside of operations where
Yeah.
we understand what it takes to shift 500 teachers and learn a new technology to be able to create new programs type of thing,
Hmm.
right? So there are issues and there are problems and there are uh, um, uh, hurdles that are typical that are going to come inside of a project. And so I think that now that the more mature technology community is coming in and saying, all right, this is how we integrate it, but we can integrate it more in the masses, the like, the garage that's got 15 doors and the guy's got, he's overwhelmed, but it's a business. He's running 2 million a year, but it's
Hmm.
gotta go. And he doesn't have his brother-in-law who can come in and plug in his laptop and figure it out, because it's a lot more than that now, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where we come in and we're able to sit down and say, hey, let's just run through. I call them piles, right? I say, if you
Mm.
look in your company, right, there's a bunch of piles everywhere, and that it's either on in invoicing or in emails or in tickets, or there's a pile somewhere in your business where if you just had somebody that could take care of that pile, your business would rock off, and it would go.
That's a
And
very
so,
interesting way of looking at it. I've never heard someone explain those things in terms of piles, but
yeah.
it is true. That's a very interesting way of looking at those things.
Yeah, you're any business owner knows exactly
Yeah,
where his
yeah,
bottleneck
yeah,
is at any
absolutely.
time. They go, if I could just get rid of that thing. And so that's the thing we go for initially. Usually not a complex solution. It's something, an in, a transform, an out, a bit of formatting, and a bit of UI. But what happens is that it's kind of the gateway drug for the owner to go,
Hmm.
wow, I now understand the world. And now that they have a bit of visibility, they're going, all right, they've gone through the shock of, oh, this is actually
Mm.
something to trust. It's not just ChatGPT sending, poems type of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of getting
So
their mind around it. So
yeah.
what did that kind of journey look like for you? So when did you come across AI, and then more specifically, when was that sort of light bulb moment for you when you thought, I've got to get on top of this stuff. I've got to start playing with it myself, as opposed to let me put that in the pile section and have someone else figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great question. I was working on Natalie, which is the speech therapy
That's a brilliant
assistant.
name, by the way. It's a brilliant name.
Thanks. Well, I was
Yeah,
looking for a name because here in Ottawa we have French and English
yeah.
very prominent. So I was looking for a
Yes,
name that could work for both languages and be
yes,
easy to
yes.
say. So I figured Natalie. She's
Awesome.
it's non-threatening. And so
You're making me think of that Netflix do you see that Netflix series with I think it might be in German, with that robot in the house. I think she had a certain name, but she was like, they gave her like a I can't remember
oh
what
yeah,
name they
yeah,
gave it. Yeah. It's like yeah, it's just a robot in a house, but she was like the most menacing character. Yeah.
that's
But it's okay. It's just speech therapy. It's just speech therapy.
exactly. So we're and again, that's another world. The speech therapy world is a world that works with paper and
Yeah.
blocks and
Yeah.
very tactile things. And usually the speech therapy community, because of all of the information protection that needs to happen because of privacy and all of those things, there's a lot of technology barriers that just don't want to go. And then it's like, how can I trust it to do this? So we had that same thing with a physical therapy assistant we built, where the agent searches physical exercises for the therapist for rehabilitation of the program against the therapy. And so once they see the results, and then they can play with it, which is probably the most important part, and so that they can create with it, and then you can accommodate that creation. It facilitates the the assimilation, and then they go, all right, let's do this.
Awesome. Okay, that's no. I love that. And so, um, where did that moment come for you though? That where you felt like, I need to get into this myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spoke
Sorry.
to Derek last week, where I was fascinated by, he's been in the military for 30 years, sorry, in the Air Force for 30 years, and then he's just so energized by these
Yeah.
ideas and wanting to learn these things. And you yourself saying you're 56, you've done some incredible things, but yet this technology comes around and you just want to leap on it. So
Oh,
I'm so curious how your mind is sort of thinking right now with everything going on.
so the excitement for me was that this technology enabled me to get to a product from my idea without having to send 30 emails and spend $50,000 on development for 4 people, 3 months to come back and say it's a bad idea. You know,
You
so
couldn't have said it
so
better. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
I can literally say, I wonder if I could create a something for that. So now I'm going to go in there and create the structure. I take a frame, put in some things, put in a bit of, and go, yeah, that's fun. Or no. And I spend an hour on it. And then I go, oh, that's an idea I could move on to. Or once I've had the idea and I've actually put it in place, go, yeah, no, it's a good idea, but it's going to take me 6 months to do this. This is too complicated. Forget about it. Right. As a business owner, to be able to create the solution that you want as a business owner, that you can then pass on to somebody and say, all right, go make this great, is phenomenally empowering, because you can instantly go to market. Like, you can go to market in a day. Literally,
Absolutely.
you can go to market in a
Absolutely.
day.
Yes. Yes.
You could just take a thing, push it to Git, push it to Railway, have a public domain, have a nice day. You're literally live in an hour.
That's where we find so much opportunity for even younger people right now, who are a question we spoke about this earlier on in the call. But you get when people are even thinking of joining the community or even learning AI, is like, but what am I going to build? What's the idea going to be? And it's so hard to explain to them two things. One, the process of doing is such a journey in itself that will inspire you, and the ideas will come. And secondly, to your point, to really have that realization that you're having, that you can ship things within a day, is such an invaluable asset to make yourself into, right? To be this person that can solve effectively any problem for any company, and you can start with smaller to medium-sized businesses, which would still be able to easily give you, at the very least, a retainer that would cover a current salary you have. But at best, you can transform your whole life, and build an agency doing tens of millions of dollars, building these type of solutions for people. And I think that can sometimes be a little bit of a tough concept for people to grasp, that just by learning how to do this, I can become that asset, because I'm not sure anything like that has existed before, right? And that I find super interesting right now. And the fact that you're saying it from your standpoint, which is, I would spend X amount otherwise. With this many people, you framed it up perfectly. That can take many months. And look, I haven't been in the game for as long as you have, but I've definitely experienced everything from even things like how long it takes to get designs done, and then to when we'd have to convert them to HTML from a Photoshop file and then get them back, and then everything's just like
Branding.
nothing looks how you want it. Yeah, it's like, what? It's completely not my vision. And then you got to go through the development process and testing. But as it, like you're saying, as a builder, your brain works at such a level of speed that just by the concept of simply having the vision is AI is not even as fast as that yet, right? But the fact that you've had the vision means that you want it as quick as the thought comes into your head. And this is the first time you've been able to experience getting something relatively close to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen,
Yeah.
all the ADDs or ADHDs or whatever label you want to throw at it, divergent or all those fun terms.
Yeah, I have all of them.
Me too.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm proud of it. But the idea is that, I say I'm addicted to learning.
Yeah.
I love discovering things. I love going, oh my, like, I guess it's a dopamine thing, or, when you learn something, you get excited and it feels good or something like that. And so that's exciting. It's empowering to go, holy smokes, man. I have an idea for a music app that I want to do for my chorus because I want to manage the learning tracks and the sheet music and the rehearsal. It takes me an hour. And I have the application that I can just send to everybody and go, hey, folks, I made a little app. And now, our music is going to be here. Our learning tracks are here. And here's our calendar. And we can chit chat in the, little chat app. Like, you realize how organizationally a nonprofit organization or any type of business that wants to get a leg up can get that leg up for peanuts, like dollars, like not
Absolutely.
even $100.
Yes.
Like Claude,
Yes.
you can just get a Claude license for $20. Forget the Max part, and just with the skills and Claude, you're gonna go and do a lot of things.
Absolutely. And was there like a oh my goodness moment for you when you first started
Yeah.
using Claude Code?
Well, it was the ChatGPT moment where we got to a place where we could give it a text that could come back with an intelligent summary. And for speech therapy, that was it for us because sometimes we get a client that has, a, a 20 pages of reports from doctors and tests and ergo specialists and all of those things. So for a speech therapist to read that takes a couple of hours. Now we take that PDF, we put it into Natalie scrapes it, summarizes it, and in 5 seconds gives you a summary of the documents that then it
Insane.
takes, puts that into the treatment plan considerations and uses that to build a treatment plan and then uses that to build the goals. So yeah, that's
Wow.
when we got excited, when we were able to go, here's 50 pages of a document, and then all of the important information that I need to collect and put inside of our system is now just going into it. That's
My
empowering,
goodness.
you know?
And you're still operating, Natalie? Did you sell the
Oh yeah.
company or is it
No.
you're
So
still operating?
so we're using it as a product inside of our clinic. But we are now going to productize it. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a monthly or a $3,500 lifetime license,
Yeah.
and it's it's really good. It's
Mm.
really good. And we talk about technology and let's tie it into when we started. Right when we started, Mid Journey was making pictures of mammoths in the winter, type of thing.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got a video of a mammoth walking, and everybody went, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, we're losing our stuff!" Right? And that was COVID. And so from there, we got into processing. And when we got into audio processing and image processing, image creation, I've never been a big, image guy, but all of the data stuff and all of the, I have 50 reports that I need to cogitate inside of some sort of thinking that I then need to create a solution for, or like that stuff, like I have I don't know which direction you want to go with this, but obviously this is
No, I
perpetual,
love this. No, it is awesome. No, you go.
like I'm mining. There's a mine here that's open. That's just not opening, but that's operational now in Quebec. And imagine all of the data points you have in a mine. Imagine all of the the controls and efficiencies that you can have, with chemicals and with machinery and with personnel and with land and with all of those things, and all of those
Mm.
data points can now be put into one environment that can be looked at in one shot. And I guess, back to the technology and what's AI and how do I see AI. You know, AI is nothing more than a really, really, really fast Google, if you think about it, right? I mean, of course, the engineers are going to come up and go, no, there's vectorization and all that. But to me, what does it do to me? It allows me to read a document, look at a web page, read another document, read an Excel sheet, watch a video, read a transcript, take all of this information, TLDR the nuts out of it, and then bring it to something and then say, here,
Yeah,
would you
absolutely.
like to create an image for that? Or
Yeah.
would you like me to put that in your calendar?
Yes.
Right? So all it does is it reads it faster, transcribes it faster, codes it faster, or learns it faster, but it knows nothing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing we can't get across to users is
Mm.
AI doesn't know anything inherently.
Mm.
You
Mm-hmm.
have to feed it the context. You
Mm-hmm.
have to give it which means and implies what this context is.
Correct.
So instead of starting with the UI, why don't you start with the database? Why don't
Mm-hmm.
you start with what it's going to have in there? Say, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, there's going to be this, and all of those blocks are going to be there. And then you can put some paint and some, wallpaper on your
Absolutely.
on your application and make it look good. But it's so I see a lot of people, and that's the difference that I see with people that are 25 and people that are 55. Is
Mm-hmm.
people that are 25 go, I want to start a user interface, and they start with the user interface and they put all the buttons and all of the windows and everything, and then they go, okay, what do I connect it to?
Absolutely. And that was almost like kind of I saw in this sort of previous era before AI. Like I'm a designer kind of by skill, and I've never been into the whole mood boarding and doing anything that sort of like feels like it adds additional bloat to the process, no matter
Yeah.
what like sort of the status quo was, because you just want to get to the working product. And along the way, if you have tools like whether it's Framer or Figma or whatever it is, but you can even create UI so effectively just through Claude Code and working in the terminal now as well. And again, it allows you to go, faster. To your point,
Yeah.
you don't need to do all of these things. Like you just want to get to that end result when you're ready to get there. And if you're spending, I used to spend all this time like it kind of like without the development skill or the ability to bring something to life, the furthest you can go as a designer is to create the most beautiful interface and experience because that's all your skills allow. And so that excites you and you're almost like looking at it and you're like, oh, you can click this and it hovers like this and it's like 0.2 milliseconds of a bounce or whatever it is, but that's still not a product. And so you get lost in all that. But I think those who I've had the luxury of doing that, but also working with very talented engineering teams and seeing behind the scenes. And so now when this technology comes out, it's like a match made in heaven where I can bring all of my design chops to the table, but also the experience of how I've seen database be structured, how projects are set up, I also bring that in. And now, you then take the intuition of what you're saying, which is no, let's build the functionality first. Because as a designer, to
Hmm.
be honest, that's what you should be doing is designing the system, right? The architecture, like how something actually going to operate, and then be able to drill down into something like a Claude Code. The context point is great, by the way. Even when every time I'm opening up, Claude Code, like it's really important for me to set the context. Like even if though it knows a project, it's like this is what I'm working on. This is what we're going to be focusing on. And people think about AI as this super powerful, all-in-one type, magic robot, so to speak. And yes, it's got incredible, abilities. However, you still are the master architect,
Of
and
course.
it's no different than using a powerful drill to drill a hole, than without it. So I find that very fascinating. Is I just think, and some people just want to kind of one-shot everything. It's like no,
Mm.
like you want to use these tools to be able to craft your
Yeah.
vision and to create the effect that you want, right?
Yeah. 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 It's a, it's it there. There's the world where you can just play around with it, and it's free, and can I get a free this and a free that, and okay. But then there's the people that work in it. Like we work in it. We start at 7 in the morning and we finish at 9 at night. And we work 7 days a week. Like this, like
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that world is a world where, Claude is a max. We have Devin, we have Claude, we have,
Yeah, what happened to Devin? Is that why Devin went quiet? Right?
I don't know.
Have you used? Yeah, I think
It's
as soon
not
as Claude came
quite in
out, it's
my
like
way. I
Devin and
use
his
it five
promise.
times.
Yeah, you
I use it
do.
5 times an hour.
Interesting. Maybe I'm sleeping.
Well, so I got so the challenge with Devon is that it's relatively pricey in terms of, well, pricey, like it's definitely hundreds of dollars a month. It's not
Yeah.
like, it's not $20 a month, right? But
Mm.
I got to do you know Lenny's newsletter?
No.
So it's a newsletter. I'll share it with you. But basically, he's got a. I don't know if you've been sharing all of this time, but yeah.
No, I'm sharing now.
Perfect.
I'm sharing mine. Do you want me to share yours?
No. I don't. All I see right now is my Discover screen on yours, so that's why I'm saying.
Do you see my screen share?
Yeah.
Do you see Lenny's newsletter here?
No, I see Best Rotan.
Oh, okay. Just give me a moment.
I think we've been watching my Best Rotan all this time.
No. We haven't been on the screen share. We've been on our camera view. So
Okay, because all I see was the share.
No. That's probably what you're seeing there. Let me see if I can adjust the share. How are we looking?
So, but he's got this product pass. If you're looking at my share.
I'm going to share with you. I see. Sorry. Okay, you see this now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can you see mine?
I can. Well, let me just switch over. Yeah, I can. There we go. Let me do this. Yeah, we're with you. Awesome.
So basically, it's at $350 US.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a year of Devon. And I mean, Devon is like, it gives you $1,350 of credits of ACUs, which you use, Lovable, a year of Pro, Bolt, N8N, Warp, Magic Patterns, PRD, Linear, Descript,
This is a Lenny's newsletter subscription, you're saying?
Whisperflow. So Lenny's newsletter is a free newsletter.
Okay.
And then he's got a product pass here.
Mm-hmm.
And this product pass, once you purchase it, gives you a free year of all of these things.
Oh, nice. That's interesting. I'll definitely take a look at that.
And so that, and the reason I came here is because of Devon, right? So I use Devon where I say, for instance, hey, I have something that I need to add here. And so from the projects that I have, I'll create, I'll show you here. So let's say, for instance, I had panels at the top of my community here that I wanted to remove, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Devin and I said, hey, Devin, on this panel here, remove the 4 top panels, this, right? It says, okay, I'll remove the panels. And then it creates this PR. And then the beauty of Devin is that because and this is what I wanted to talk to you about for Devin, is that although you see the progress, you see the shell, you also have the code. So once, I'll just wake it up. Once you have the code here, you're able to run your terminals.
Is that waking up, like almost a fetching context?
Like spinning a server. It's kind of like spinning up a server.
Got it.
But what happens is that Devin is using, shell, it's using code, and then we have a browser that we can use, which means it can look at its code, but it can look at its results very quickly, right? And so what I was trying to do, I don't know what I'm doing here. Why it's doing this.
No, that's interesting. Okay.
It's that once you have this, then you have your IDE here, right? And of course, you
Uh-huh.
understand that if you have your IDE, then you can come in here and start a new terminal,
Uh-huh.
and then say, and you can start your Claude, right?
Got it.
Like not a bash terminal, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. And so you're able to create your Claude code inside of your terminal, inside of your project, and then you're able to use Devin to be able to, have an oversight, because it has a wiki of your entire project, right?
That's
So
very cool.
when it looks at your project, right, and in our case, what interests us is things like this, right? Where you're able to
Ah,
explain to your user, this is what it does. So you give it your GitHub, you say, go create a wiki. It does this entire thing for this entire key for your GitHub, which allows it to then be super knowledgeable about what you're working on. So you always have context of your project. And so when you bring in Claude Code, or you bring in Devin, or you bring in whomever,
yeah.
you're running. And so I do
That's very
this.
interesting.
That gives us a task, and then once that task is done, it pushes it to GitHub. I push the PR, and then it updates my Railway, and then we are live.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it as well in those formats of tasks. Because often at the moment, like you have to almost, you're in a Claude Code chat, you're giving it a task, and then you are moving over to the next task. But that's an interesting way of doing it. Like, do they have tabs for different tasks as well? Kind of like, yeah. So you can have different tasks as different chats as well within
So
the same project, or is
you
it?
work in sessions,
I see.
right? So
Yeah.
I create a new session, and I say, for instance, here, uh, you know, we need to find a new way to store the location in the profile of the user, because we need to filter and match people by location. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to extract the location inside of the address that is currently just one line.
Got it.
And so
Okay.
uh, that all because I'm using this audio now.
No, no, it's fine.
It,
Yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah.
it'll put
No.
it'll put the text here, and then it'll create this. Need to use a different way of storing location.
I love watching other
Separate
people use AI.
the field.
We almost need to have a website where you just watch people use AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Um, and so obviously I'm doing this as an example, but I would say, normally what I would do is look at my interface. I'd take a snapshot. I'd go to Claude Code. I'd say, here's what I want to do. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's my difficulty. This is what I'd like to do. I get a couple of solutions. Then I either go to Claude Code, or to Claude, or to ChatGPT, OpenAI, and go bouncing back and forth a few times. And then I say, okay, this is what I want to do. I come in here and I say, in Claude, give me the prompt. I get the prompt. I put it in here and I say, do this. So that takes me about 20 minutes to get to what I want to do. And then I paste that in here. By that time, I know exactly, the solution that I want to create. And so it creates a solution, and then it'll, show me a few things. But what I love about it is, because we have a browser, I can control my browser here and literally go and say, you know, while I'm working, I log into here, and then the modifications, once they've pushed to live, or if I'm running a local, can be previewed right away, right?
Interesting.
So that's like super empowering for
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
like
no,
me.
absolutely, absolutely. No, no, no. It's
Because
fascinating. I
once I
love. I
get
haven't seen Devin
here,
like
I
this.
can
Yeah.
talk to you and say, "Hey, Omar, here's this thing I do now. You go make it the real thing."
Mm, mm, mm. It's a great
And
way. It's a great way
so
to just prototype as well. Like to really, really quickly just spin up concepts and then
it,
yeah.
it is phenomenal for me, because it costs peanuts. It's not free. Yeah, you have to invest money, and yes, you have to learn how to do things. And I make mistakes all the time, and that's
Mm,
why I have two people on the team that are gonna go, that was dumb. Don't do that. Do this. And I go, okay, sorry. But the amount of learning that I've had in the last 2 years about coding, which I had never done in my life before, right? I was a UI, I was a UX UI guy. I was, teaching people how to project manage and change manage and things like that. But now I have the power or the not the power, the I have
Capabilities.
the ability, yeah, thanks, to go, I have an idea for a story thing. I want to create a little tool. So it's like, when you go to Home Depot, you buy a couple of tools and you make something that doesn't make you a house builder, but you're still able to make a shed, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
now I can make my own shed.
Well, you can build your own house for sure. You can build your own house.
No.
Yeah.
So,
So what brought you into the community? How did you come across it? What compelled you to join?
it was the interface. It was your
Oh, thanks.
um, the 5DS um, organized manner of going through. Um, you know, you have to start here. You have to start here. Click here. Here's a link to put in your key. All of those facilitations, all of those small, what seemingly small but very big facilitations of, I don't have to click on three things to be able to go get my key, or once they're there. And that's why I was saying, it'd be great to have secrets inside of 5DS so that
Mm,
you wouldn't
mm,
have to go get your keys all the time.
mm-hmm.
Um, but to me, that was the empowering thing. Here is blah 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 blah. Do this, do this, do this, do that, and then that gives you a frame, and then from there, within 15 minutes, you're able to go. And that's how I got Best Roatan, literally following your Best
Yeah.
Dubai
Yeah.
section, which I haven't. I'm still. I need to move forward to, but
No, this is awesome. I love to go through this Rotan site. Yeah, this is awesome, man. You spun this up, sorry, so quickly. It was quite alarming.
yeah,
You had it, yeah.
it's
You just had it fired up and look at it. So this is your
yeah.
direct. Okay, yeah. You walk us through this. This is amazing, amazing for people to see.
Yeah, so the idea with the Roatan is that again, we have cruise ships that go to Roatan, and Roatan in Honduras is a scuba diving community island. I mean, it's a beautiful place, but there's a lot of day trips, right? That happen when you are on a cruise. What you do, right? You get off the boat, you go on the island, you do a day tour. And so those day tours can either be sold on the dock or when people walk around. But what I'm thinking is, if we have the Best of Roatan directory, we can catch them on the boat in their spending mood, and then get them to buy a tour directly on the boat before
Interesting.
they get to Roatan, right?
So
Because
you'll be getting like a kind of affiliate revenue off the back of it, or you're going to be directly integrated.
we're directly integrated. I'm associated with 3 resorts over there
Okay, nice.
in Roatan. So we're at Luna Beach, which is the main one, and then we have 2 other resorts that are also able to accept visitors, and then we scuba dive. So we're either doing day tours or we're doing a week of scuba diving instruction or discovery. It's amazing.
Awesome. How did you find the actual even building the layout? Because you've was it first time using Shad CN and like designing through Claude Code? Because this looks very clean, very effective.
Mhm.
You've got all the details in there. Looks like a very visually appealing site as well. So how did you find
Mhm.
that process for yourself, especially coming from a sort of design background or product background as well?
Yeah, and I literally have very little credit. I used a Next.js
Yeah.
frame that
Yeah.
has everything already set, and I said, "Here's what I want. Add those parts," and then
Yeah, it's
it,
wonderful.
you know, it was, make sure to have these, make sure to have those modeled against yours, uh, and so. The one thing that I wanted to make sure is that we would be able to have an add your own business, so that as a
Uh-huh.
business
Yeah,
owner,
that's
you be
nice.
able to add
That's
yourself,
lovely. Very
uh,
clean.
and then, eventually we'll put some images in. This
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
first
yeah.
shot. Literally, this
Yeah,
is
no,
like
this is
one and a half,
gorgeous. Yeah, this is
so,
awesome. Yeah,
but
and
it works.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. This is a great example of, everything that I want sort of the 5 day sprint to be, which is, just jump in there, bring the idea to life, start playing around with it, tweak it as you go, but at least you've got some sort of visual canvas to go by now, and that's very, very important because the idea is no longer living in your head. It's out there, and you can share it with people, you can tweak on it yourself. And hey, this is the other beauty of vibe coding, by the way, is like similar to Claude Code having to get in context. You can also just jump in and out of context as you want. Like don't you find that like there's feels like very little sort of, I don't know what the word is, but like, mental overhead. I don't know if that's the right term, but I feel like I'm very comfortable with leaving a project. I'm good for now. And then when I dip back in, even in a week's time or whatever, I can have multiple things going on at a time, but it doesn't feel like I have to be focusing on one project for a prolonged period of time and this worry of like losing context. Although that flow state helps, I can very easily be able to shift focus on something else and dive back in. And I wonder if like, having AI as your companion helps a lot with that, right? Because it can just help you answer all those questions, can't it? Like, where were we at? What we're doing, type thing.
Exactly. What it does is it allows I find it very comparable to restaurants. How a chef has an idea for a recipe, and then I watch them, they'll go, well, I'll work on that, but I'll have to come back to it because it's not ready to be served, right? And they have these ideas of recipes that they're cooking and they're putting together, but they're not ready to serve yet. And that's kind of what I see. It's like our company is kind of a restaurant of solutions, and then we just put things together. Sometimes I have an idea for a tool and it's ready, but it's not. I'll just show it to my friends, and then sometimes it's this and it works.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. No, that's
Yeah,
fascinating. So,
it's
what do you
it's
see?
exhilarating for sure.
Exhilarating is the perfect word for it. What's your day to day like now? Are you kind of consumed building, creating? Like, yeah, you're really
Yeah.
enjoying just being in that playground.
This is what we do. Our day starts with making sure that everything is running. Obviously, everything is up, and then looking for any emergencies. And then once everything is, kind of stable, we've looked at the news, and my coffee's good. Then start reaching out to create content and create, more YouTube. We're going for the long form to directly school, and so most of our time is going to be on content generation for our,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then just learn and spend some time on school. I mean, I used to go to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all those things. Now I go to school.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, me too, me too. I feel like I'm like just living inside this world now that I wasn't privy to before. But it's so amazing. The thing I enjoy the most is literally, this is a digital version, a slightly upgraded digital version as a FaceTime almost to our day-to-day exchanges inside the community in a written format. But even a physical version of this would be an even grander stage, to collaborate upon. I'm very excited about that as this thing sort of
Yeah.
flourishes, and all your feedback, by the way, like I love it. Like the ideas you've been sending, I jot those down as well. I remember I think you might have sent me something recently about being able to delete projects as well. There's different things
Mhm.
that as I get them, they're just like, if I can execute them straight away, I want to do that, because it also feels like the more I can be shipping with you almost, keeping you engaged, like the
Mhm.
product and framework is only as good as people like you who are using it and actually executing with it. And so even these type of sessions are just very insightful for me in terms of feedback itself on the product, but
Yeah.
especially to understand how you're thinking and how you're building, and so we can get as close to that as possible, so you just have more fun just shipping products and getting them out there and making money. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think you're bang on. Literally, that was probably the there's stuff that is unspoken for of why you decide to do something. But as I was watching your videos, one of the things that actually, I'll tell you exactly what got me decided to join is when I saw one of your videos. You didn't even cut the first 12 seconds where you had to reseat and restart the video. You went like, like, hi, this is Omar. Welcome to shoot. Hi, this is Omar. Right? And I'm
Where is
like,
that video? I probably should have cut that. That's so funny.
and I'm like, I want to be that guy, because the number of times that I have derailed a training session because there was a cat walked by, and I'm like,
Oh man.
this guy is he's the reason that I need to put it in gear in such a different way because you guys are just crushing
Yes,
it.
Lord.
And
Oh,
and
thank you.
so, yeah, that's my aspiration, is to be able to kind of do exactly what you do, but I want to do it for small, medium business owners for
Yes.
their business, not for,
Absolutely.
selling.
Yes. Yes.
Can I show
Absolutely. No,
you
you're in the right
Devin's?
space.
Can I show you
Yes.
the Devin,
Yes.
just
Yes.
so we
Yes.
close the loop there?
Yes.
Because some folks are going to be curious, I think.
I love
I'm very
this.
sorry. I have this bug and it's just in my throat. I keep on
Oh,
coughing and
good.
stuff.
No, no, no. You're good. You're good. Can't even tell.
So I don't. I see my screen now on your share, but if you're looking at Devin, so basically, here's what I did, da da da, and it said I created this. So obviously, people that work in database understand it's creating this, and then it says I created this PR. So now I go to my PR in GitHub, and
Mm-hmm.
it says this is what I did. And the beauty of these is that it is very detailed. So
Hmm.
if one decides to read, one learns. And so if you just read what the agent did, you're going to learn something. And sometimes you learn that they're going in the completely wrong direction too. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, no, don't change that. You don't. Why would you change that name? Just do that instead, right? And so it's dumb sometimes, right? Because it doesn't know. And so now we have this PR that's ready to go, and it'll give me the risk level. It's bad. So I say, okay, I'm ready to go. Go ahead and merge that. So now once I've merged that, what's going to happen is that it's going to update
Oh.
my railway, which is
Yeah.
already live. And now because it's pushed it out, right? PR 49,
Uh-huh.
right, has been gone out, then automatically it'll update my railway who looks at the GitHub repo. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as that repo has been updated, it goes, oh, I have a new deployment to do. And then it's going to deploy that. I hope it fixed something, because if it broke something, I'm going to look really bad.
Yeah, like a random
But
random
but
test. Yeah.
once and so this is where stuff happens,
Yeah.
where it'll do something. And I mean, whether you're in Claude Code or in Devin, when you're pushing to your repo, stuff breaks. And
Mm.
so that's why it's important to run it locally. But
Mm-hmm.
assuming you're pushing it here and it runs well, unless you see deployment failed and is red, and then you take the error, you bring it back, you go da da da. But once it's deployed, then you can just go back to your site, and hopefully it'll have the solution there. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then you go back, and
Yeah.
that iteration, which a lot of people, it drives them crazy because they want to have all of the solution perfect, ready to go before they start. And you're like, that's an error. I believe that's an error.
Yes, I
Uh,
agree with you.
um, and so, because there's no way, first of all, you're not going to know what
Yes.
you're not going to know until you know it. And
Yes.
so you need to hit that wall before you understand that it's there. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you do this, you hit a wall 50 times a day. You break things 38 times a day. And then at the end of the day, you went, all right. And whatever's good, you leave. And then whatever's being
Absolutely.
worked
You're
on
almost
is,
failing up. Well, that's almost that's life in itself. But in life, you have these lessons which sometimes can be year-long,
yeah,
experiments. But then you iterate a
yeah,
little bit. Could be a relationship, could be whatever. But in this format, you have that same muscle inside your body, right? Which is just like learning in real time and adjusting. And actually, you want more failures. The more you're able to just like get in there, something's not working, it's irritating you,
yeah,
whatever. You won't do it again. You'll keep
yeah,
coming across it, and then just like build that
yeah.
strength to be able to figure that out next time.
And that's the fear. The fear
Yes.
is breaking things, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
a number of times I told students when they were in Microsoft Excel, I'm like, listen, you can't break it. Like, the program, you can't break the program unless you really, really, really work hard at it. You can't break this
Mm-hmm.
program. Click on
Yeah.
buttons, do something, and eventually you'll learn what it does.
That's so true. You got to go through it, and as things break, you learn. You'll iterate with it, and then everything that you're doing, like all these things you're doing right now, like flawlessly being able to talk to Devin or be able to deploy. Actually, the first time you deploy, I remember the first time I deployed a site, it was actually almost get myself prepared to even figure this thing out. But once you've done it, it's amazing because much of and I think this is analogous to the way people look at Cursor or tools like Devin. It looks overwhelming, but when you use it, it's so delightfully just just the way it impresses you. It's just so incredible to experience because it's overwhelming how easy it was to get what you wanted done. Yet in our minds, we have these preconceived notions which stop us from actually doing the thing because we think it's too technical or like I don't know what DNS is or whatever. But actually, now I'm just like I can just spin up a domain and a site like it's nothing. It's just child's play now. But the first time it was really environment variables. I was like, what? How do you do this? And now when you develop the mental models, it's very easy to just execute. Love that.
This is your solution right there.
How do I? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Claude itself. Yeah, is
Have a nice day.
for everything. Yeah,
If
absolutely.
if
Perfect.
if you want to do anything today,
Mm,
regardless
mm,
of where you are, if you don't have enough money to go to university or college, it doesn't matter anymore. It truly
mhm,
does not matter
mhm,
anymore.
mhm,
If you want to learn something today, regardless of what that is, the information is going to be there. Of course, you need to curate the information to make sure it's the good information because the bad
mhm,
information is also out there.
mhm,
But I submit that anybody that spends 3 hours a day on Claude, 5 days a week for a month is going to be a completely different worker in a month. And I think that all companies should have that mandatory 1 hour free time on AI play in a sandbox somewhere where people can go, I wonder if I can rejig or refactor or da or what's that or what's, you know what I mean? Because
mhm,
those
absolutely.
building moments are where people put together things. That's why I keep on talking about, hey, you guys want to get together on a Zoom and put 3-4 people together and just build something. I don't care what it is. Let's have
Yeah,
a let's
yeah,
go build McDonald's or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
like just to
yeah,
have fun
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
It is
But
so
exactly, it doesn't
liberating.
matter
It's
what it is.
something that
You
I would
can't.
like.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy doing that most. Even the last couple of weeks, I've been much more on the operational management side of my work, and I was really itching to just build because it's rarely now that I go. Even before that, I was going like maybe 2 days without like vibe coding or working on something. When I had sort of this like 2 week section where I wasn't really building, it was I was like, I need to build. And so on Tuesday, I spoke to Ollie as well. I was like, listen, I'm out Wednesday to Friday. I'm non-contactable. I'm just locked in. I'm trying to build something, and I got what I wanted to build done by Friday, which was awesome.
Yeah,
And it's just such a nice feeling. It's like that's what I want to be doing all of the time. I
yeah.
just want to be building, creating, and have an opportunity to share the journey with people like you and be doing this. To me, it's like it's actually living a dream. Like how
Yeah,
much fun is this just to be able to do this? And how I would have never have met people like yourself otherwise.
of
We
course.
were gonna hold lifetime, and I would have been robbed the
No way.
joy of seeing your face and getting to know you.
So, and,
So
and
yeah.
and I got to tell you, that's where, from your perspective, I have the complete mirror of that inside of the
Yeah,
business world, where
yeah,
I'm, um, you know, I'm pretty comfortable at saying hello to a company, how and figuring out where the issues are, understanding, asking the questions that make the things that need to pop out, and then say to the owner, okay, I got you, let me come back, and then spend a couple of days, I do things, then I talk to somebody brilliant like you and say, hey, Omar, I've got Bob here who's got this da, I think we could da and do this. Here's what I put together. I give it to you, you make it brilliant, and 3 days later I go to Bob and say, hey, Bob, do I have something for you? Let me show you what Omar did. And and
it's
it's
thrilling.
fun.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fun, man.
absolutely.
like
I
like
can
you
sense it
know
in your energy. It's a pure creator energy that you have, man, and it can't
because
be
it works.
faked. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, man.
It's not a
So
joke, man. It
yeah,
works.
one of my team members said it best. He was like, it's almost like technology has kind of caught up to you. And I feel that same with people like yourself as well. There's other people in the community that are the same, who are creatives at heart. And it's like we finally have something that kind of feels like it works at the pace and the
Yeah.
execution level that we desired, but that's what makes it awesome. But no, thank you so much, Denny. I really, really appreciate this. I would love for you to share maybe where people can get in touch with you. You're building
Yep.
this space as well right now. Do you want to share a little bit about that so everyone can
Yeah.
sort of reach out to you?
Yeah. So my company is the Agent Factory, which is agentfactory.ai,
Hmm.
where well, this is for the business side of things, where businesses will come and
It's a lovely name.
connect with them. Thank you. We also have EdgeOS, which is basically from our school, is going to be a place where small medium businesses have a constant support on a daily basis. So we have a 2-hour call from 11 to 1, 5 days a week. So if you're a business owner, you want to use solutions, but you don't want to build them yourself, you can join the school. And then as you're integrating your elements, we can help you with it. And then, of course, there are companies where, it'll be a $5,000 solution that they just want to implement and have a great day. And then there are, some larger corporations where we'll sell them a solution for, $80,000 and spend 3 months building it. And then, everybody's happy. But yeah, there's a lot of room for that. So looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you inside of your community and chit chatting with all your folks.
No, absolutely. No, I'm really glad to have you there. So thank you so much, Denis. This is brilliant. I wish you, more and more success with everything you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm hugely inspired by speaking to you. And thank you for just being a part of this. You don't realize how much, energy it gives me, having people like you in there, and it motivates me more and more. So thank you for your time here on
Likewise.
the call, and thank you for being a part of what we're building.
I appreciate it. It's my pleasure. And I hope we get to chit chat again.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Cheers.
Clap, 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 we're done just right. 5-day sprint took us to new heights. Make it